Hi, Rich Tehrani here in the TMC newsroom. Thanks for watching. We're at CTIA. We're in Las Vegas. It's day 3 of the show, and we're speaking with Bill Diotte, who's the president and CEO of Broadhop. Bill, how are you?
I'm doing well, Rich. Thank you for having me.
So how does your company play in the policy market?
Well, the policy market has really evolved from the initial stage over the last 5 years, which we call Policy 1.0, where the main application was around controlling network resources, fair use, bandwidth throttling, etc., to control the network resources. To now, what we believe is required is moving to Policy 2.0, which is really focused on applications and service innovation. Broadhop, as a founder of the policy industry, has always been focused on network, but now we're having a unique positioning in enabling application innovation, allowing service providers in a very rapid way to deploy new compelling services to end users.
Could you give us some examples?
Yeah, exactly. I think everybody has an experience in the mobile space where their smartphone may become congested because there's a lot of new broadband services, applications, wonderful new applications and devices out. But at the same time, they're overloading the network capacity. So in the current 1.0 world, the user would have a frustrating experience, not understand what's going on, and essentially get very poor service. In the 2.0 world, which Broadhop is enabling, there's a couple of key elements. One is we detect congestion at a cell level, as an example, and identify all the different users who happen to be in that cell location in real time. We then dissect the users by service level, type, profile, identity, and send messages to them through a push technology on the handset, our own app, and other methods, and allow them, first of all, to understand that they're in a zone of congestion, as an example, communicating to them, and then giving them choices as to how they'd like to manage their service in real time. For platinum users, let's say, very premium users, we're giving them the notification and we're letting them know that their service will not be degraded, and thank you for being a platinum user. To the basic users, and there are many of those who really don't want to pay a tremendous amount of monthly fee for all you can eat, but just get basic voice and text and some other services, we may be sending the message to them that they're in a congested zone and limited services may be available to them in a broadband way. If they want to upgrade to those services, then they could use special loyalty credit points that we help manage the service provider to deliver as well.
So you give the carriers a lot of flexibility in terms of how they bill, how they charge, the plans. Or you really allow them to hook in customers with a base level product and then allow the customers, if they want, to have a better product.
Absolutely, and in a real-time experience, a customer can select how they want to react and respond and upgrade their services and really enable a personalized experience.
So where do you live within the carrier network to be able to ascertain how congested a tower is?
Typically we do that in a couple ways, but first we're in the core of the network, and that being our application architecture that sits in the data center. Now given that, we have access to polling information to all the different control and enforcement points in the network, whether that's at the node B, at the PDSN, GGSN, as an example, and also at DPI level. So all the different control points in the network we would have connection to and poll them for control and current environmental information. And then based on that, we allow service providers to create rules using a matrix-driven policy engine to be able to define, based on those conditions, how they would like to enact different types of policies for different users, different applications, different conditions in the network.
So theoretically, let's think this through. And this is not saying that this is how it would work, but because I'm going to use a specific example. We're out here in Las Vegas, and let's say there are a lot of people on, we'll pick the T-Mobile network for lack of a better choice. And we have a influx of people. Let's say that there's a bunch of trade shows in Vegas right now. So let's say 100,000 people are in Vegas.
Yes.
And then out of that 100,000, the T-Mobile network is congested, severely congested. So T-Mobile theoretically could tell its customers, you are allowed to upgrade your service. You can upgrade it for a day, upgrade it for, right? They have the flexibility.
Absolutely.
Right to the length of the trade show. Let's say it's a few days. You can say for 3 days, while I'm at this trade show, I want better service. And that allows my quality of service to be bumped up, and I pay a little bit more for that.
Exactly.
And then other people, I guess, may or may not decide to do the same.
Exactly, and taking it a little bit further in terms of granularity of control, we would allow them to be able to upgrade for an hour, for a shorter period of time, because, for example, I might want to have it after we finish our discussion, but then we may be going back to a booth or for a particular meeting, so I don't want to upgrade for that entire period of time. So it's very granular, usage-based. Think of it as your own personal utility where you can change the different service to your home. The other thing that's very interesting is we allow people to have a voluntary downgrade option as well, where they may say, I don't want to use the broadband.
Like a flight, getting bumped off a flight and getting a voucher for a free flight.
And then getting a voucher for free flights. It can be downloading ringtones, videos, etc. in the future. So that ties back into...
Because that was my next question, was what if everybody decides at this trade show that they want to upgrade? We're in a pretty tough situation now, right? Because what are you going to do?
Exactly. There's only so much bandwidth, and therein lies the issue that we're working to solve. So you really have to differentiate the particular users, and those who have basic services understand, and you may also offer them, the fact that you are a basic service person, but we're going to downgrade you, but you may not have any choice about that, but we're still going to give you some app loyalty points, and that helps customer retention, churn, and also satisfaction at the end of the day, even for the basic
in a real world, let's think this through. In Las Vegas, you have a local community here that's affected by all of us conventioneers, as they call them. We come in here, we come into town, we ruin their cellular experience, and then we leave.
Yes.
We help their economy, so I'm sure they're happy about that, and we keep the casinos going. But theoretically now, we come in here, we are, all of us in the convention business, or most of us, have companies that will pay, we expense our cell phone experience. So most of us would probably opt for a better experience, whereas the consumers in this local area who pay for their own cell phones could theoretically decide and have that option, because we have so many people and because this is a convention town, to downgrade.
Exactly, and get something for that. So first of all, be aware of the situation. 2, being presented with some choices, and 3, being allowed to consciously take some action and choices that then extends back into the policy control layer, into the network, and allows those decisions to be enacted. So we're really giving the user a remote control for their own network experience with the Broadhop application policy suite.
Now, have you disclosed your customer list? Or is that?
No, it's a broad list, and I'm happy to talk about those. We've been in the policy business since 2003, and to this point, we're the most widely deployed policy technology platform in the industry, with over 65 customers in 25 countries. And many of those are top-tier companies like Reliance Communications, Maxis, several of the Vodafone properties, as well, and many of the top-tier carriers in the Middle East. Several of the top-tier U.S. providers have just recently come on as customers and are in the process of deploying the technology. So,
can you tell us any of the U.S. ones?
Not at the moment, but I think you would know their name very well. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, a long track record and a history. We're in the 5th generation of our policy platform, and with the introduction just a few weeks ago of the Quantum Network Suite, we're really enabling that jump to Policy 2.0, which really does 2 things. One is, as we talked about, puts the remote control for the personalized user experience, and secondly, it allows the service providers to very quickly introduce new features and applications in an order of magnitude faster, and we do that by a game-changing jump in the architecture. We've basically broken apart the new feature layer from the environment in which it runs. So rather than wait for the next generation of the operating system to expose new features, we actually allow the operators to create new features and then plug them into the highly available virtualized operating environment. So those are 2 major leap forward that we're now presenting to the industry to get everybody to 2.0.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming on the program today.
Thank you, Rich.
It was wonderful learning about your company.
Thank you.
It really was.